What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Hurricanes Unfiltered, powered by Come On Now, the podcast. I'm your host, Rudy Rodriguez Showmont. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, ring that bell. Appreciate y'all's support of the channel. We're talking versus USF. This is a preview of the game. Game is going down at 4:30 on Saturday. Do not miss it. Kind of crazy, though, that you have a top 20 game, probably the game of the week nationally, and it's on the CW. It's kind of weird, I would say. I mean, don't you think it's just very, very odd that a top 20 matchup is on the CW? It's kind of insulting if you ask me. But let's talk about this game. Miami beat South Florida last year 50-15 in Tampa. This was a game that wasn't really indicative of the way the game was played wasn't really what you saw on the scoreboard. Yes, Miami won via route, but this was a 15-14 game just before the half. Miami was trailing. And once Miami got going, it was a wrap. Miami scored 36 unanswered points and won the game going away 50-15 in Tampa. But for almost a half, South Florida stuck with the Canes right then and right there. This game is in the Hard Rock. This game is down here in South Florida. This whole week, it's been nasty weather down here. I don't know what the forecast is for this Saturday, but it's been pretty much raining all week. Today is now Wednesday. It's rained every single day this week. It's been disgustingly humid. So my guess it's probably going to be kind of nasty out there on Saturday. Right now, there's about a 20% chance of rain during the game. We'll see. This is South Florida. Weather changes by the second. You never know what you're going to get. South Florida is built around one player, and that's Byrum Brown, the quarterback. Byrum Brown is 39 of 60 this year for 473 yards passing, one touchdown. He's been sacked 5 times. He's a mobile quarterback. He's a guy that you're going to have to contain. He's a guy that you're going to have to get to and put pressure on. He's also their leading rusher with 31 carries for 109 yards. So he is pretty much the South Florida offense. Their leading receivers are Keyshawn Singleton with 7 catches for 168 and Chaz Nimrod for 6 catches for 120. But again, this is all about Byrum Brown. You slow down Byrum Brown, South Florida is not going anywhere. Miami's a 17.5-point favorite in this game, rightfully so. Miami, I mean, I understand that they're ranked number 18. They beat Florida at Florida, obviously an upset. They beat Boise State. They blew Boise State out. It's not the same Boise State team they had last year with Ashton Genty. So I wouldn't look too far into that. Now, they are going to be a test. They're going to be a big test for Miami. Miami has to be ready to play. Miami has to put pressure on the quarterback, man. That is an absolute critical component to slowing down a guy like Byrum Brown. I'm interested to see how Miami defends, if Miami has a spy that chases him around or is with him, if Miami blitzes a lot, if Miami gets front four pressure with Ruben Bain and Akeem Mesidor. These are all things that are questions that I have and how Miami's going to defend him. I think early on, Miami puts pressure on him. I think Miami's going to send some blitzers at him and try to make him really uncomfortable. And then, of course, now it's about the offense and how Miami responds offensively. Carson Beck has obviously been very good so far. Mark Fletcher's been very good. We all know about what Malachi Toney and CJ Daniels can do. And I want to see more at tight end from Elijah Lofton. These are people that I want. That's someone I need to see more from. But when it comes down to it, this is just a matter of Miami defensively. If Miami puts pressure defensively, if Miami can get to Byrum Brown, I think Miami wins this game handily. And I don't know that it's a close one. I don't know that it's even close. Won by 35 in Tampa last year. I know it's a completely different Miami offense. I mean, everyone across the board for the most part is different on offense, from quarterback to wide receiver. About the only thing that's similar is running back, but even then, you had Damian Martinez. I mean, Jordan Lyle did have a 91-yard touchdown run last year in Tampa against South. It's going to be close to a sellout for this game down here, and hoping that Hurricanes fans show up early and are loud from the onset. But at the same time, the Miami Hurricanes football players have to come out with energy, a lot of energy, a lot of juice. I didn't see that last week against Bethune, obviously, for obvious reasons. But at the same time, it was a dominant performance. But coming out with a lot of energy and excitement and having a loud crowd, I think is critical early on and putting pressure on Brown. If you put pressure on Brown, I think the game is very, very simple. If you allow him to run around and pick targets and so forth, now you have a different scenario. Last year, Miami kind of struggled with their one wide receiver who's no longer on this team this year. What was this guy's name again? Sean Atkins. He had 10 catches last year for 107. He gave Miami some headaches last season. And he was basically the main target that Brown was looking at the entire game. He had 19 completions, and 10 of them went to Sean Atkins. Brown also was had the most carries on the team, and just checking some other information. Miami forced 2 turnovers. They had 1 turnover. I still want to see Carson Beck throw the ball down the field. I want to see Carson Beck challenge. I don't want to watch a game where Miami's throwing swing passes all game long. I get it. You got guys that can make plays, but I think you have to have some guys going for chunks down the field and stretching the South Florida defense. On the offense, though, as well, I also do want to see the offensive line punish the South Florida defensive line. Miami's offensive line is a top shelf offensive line. They're dominant. They are physical, and they love to run block. You can see it. They want to pound the defensive line. That's for sure. Good news on the injury front. Miami can expect to see JoJo Trader, Jordan Lyle, and Armando Blunt back on the field. They're good to go for practice this week. These guys are all out this past week against Bethune-Cookman. This week they're going to be on that field, and hopefully we're going to get to see some reps from these guys. I still want to see JoJo Trader make some plays. I still want to see him get some opportunity. Unfortunately, he was injured last week, so he didn't get that opportunity, which I thought was a perfect chance for him to shine. But we'll see what happens there. All in all, I'm expecting Miami to come out with a win. I think Miami's going to control the line of scrimmage. I think Miami's defensive line is going to get to Byrum Brown. I think there's going to be. I think Corey Heatherman's going to bring some blitzes from different angles. I definitely expect some blitzes from Corey Heatherman from angles and trying to put immediate pressure on Brown. Obviously, if Miami wins the toss, they're going to defer and they're going to put the defense on the field, and I think that's going to set the tone immediately. Obviously, if they get the ball first, they need to go down the field and score. They need to go down and score, take the lead, put pressure on South Florida, make South Florida do things that they don't want to do. Brown is an elusive athlete. He's a physical athlete, but he can be hit and he can be affected. He can be impacted a great deal. He was the starter last year. So, I think it would be incredibly impressive if South Florida was to be able to come and win their first 3 games all against ranked teams. But I think Miami's going to end that streak this Saturday. Obviously, I don't want to see that happen. So I want to see that streak ended, and I'm expecting to see Miami come away with a win. I'm venturing to guess probably somewhere in the 38-17 range around there. Those are my thoughts. Let me know what y'all think in the comments, man. What do you think the score is going to be? How do you think this game is going to go? Who do you expect to step up? And what do you expect out of Carson Beck? Do you want to see him throw that ball down the field? I mean, there were some comments on some things where it was, you know, they couldn't open it up. It was never for me. The Bethune game was never about opening it up. Like I don't want to see fake, trick plays. That's what to me. That's what opening the playbook up is. You're putting in trick plays or gimmick shit. That's not what I'm talking about when I say open it up. I meant just stretching the field, being aggressive downfield. A lot of Carson Beck's throws on Saturday against Bethune-Cookman were swing passes. They were passes to let receivers make plays, which is why you had Malachi Toney with 69 yards after catch on 80 yards receiving. So, but I want to see something more down the field. Like that pass that he made to CJ Daniels is as good of a pass as you can possibly make. Incredible. If you haven't seen that play, go watch that play. That pass was perfect. Catch was great, but the pass was perfect. So again, y'all let me know y'all thoughts in the comments. Are you going to be in the building? And let me think. Anything else going on? Next week for the Florida game, I'm going to have lanyards for Hurricanes Unfiltered. So, you know, I'm going to be giving them out to fans. So if you see me in the parking lot walking up to the stadium, I'm going to have lanyards. I'm just giving it out. Appreciate y'all supporting the channel. And be sure you subscribe. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment. This is Hurricanes Unfiltered, powered by Come On Now, the podcast. Come on now.